Hello everyone and welcome. Today we are going to build a real-time data ingestion pipeline. So here is our architecture and it's going to be very simple and very basic. The aim is to have you understand what's the basic and the fundamental architecture can be and have an overall idea about it. So before we get on to the hands-on, first of all, the what's and why's, do's and won't do's. Okay, so let's get to it. First, what and why. So if you look at the architecture, here we have this flow. Here this thing represents the real-time data, real-time streaming data. Now what is real-time streaming data? It means the continuous flow of data. It's not static. Okay, continuous flow of data. Okay, fine. What are these components? Well, these two are called Kinesis. Well, actually, Kinesis is the umbrella term. In AWS, to handle real-time data, we have something called Kinesis family. And in the Kinesis family, we have four components. First one is KDS, that is Kinesis data stream. Second is Kinesis data analytics, KDA, which is currently known as managed service link, if I'm not wrong, MSF. And third is Kinesis Firehose, and the fourth one is Kinesis video stream. Okay, so for today's purpose, we are only going to use KDS and Firehose. We are not going to use KDA, that is analytics and video streaming. Okay, we are not doing any of those. Okay, so here is our data stream, here is our Firehose. What the data stream is doing is that it is consuming data from a source, which is the real-time data that we see here. It will pass it onto the Firehose, and Firehose is kind of a, you can say, a path creator. Okay, it would take the data from the Kinesis data stream and load it to Redshift. Okay, so Redshift is a data warehouse service which basically stores large and huge amount of data for your analysis. Okay, and I could have chosen many other destination. We could have chosen just S3, but when you choose the Redshift, you also need a S3 bucket. Okay, so I thought, why not choose Redshift, since it is also handling the S3 part as well. That's why we have the Redshift. So the flow is, the data would be generated here, real-time data. It would pass on to data stream, then go to Firehose. Then Firehose won't directly store it into the Redshift. Rather, what it would do is that it will store it in an S3 bucket. Clear? And after it stores it in the S3 bucket, it will run a command. I will show you that. It will run a command in Redshift, okay, in the background. And when the command is run in the background, Redshift will pick the data from Redshift, from the S3 bucket. Okay, the data will flow from S3 to Redshift. Clear? Okay, fine. So this is the overall flow and architecture, each of the components, what and why. Okay, now what about the do's and won't do's? What we will be doing today and what we won't be doing. Why this is important? Because it will give you an overall idea, okay, of about the entire pipeline. Okay, first thing is that the Redshift workgroup that we are going to use, it will be public. The first thing, it would be public. Okay, and the second thing is that it is a data ingestion pipeline. It is a data ingestion pipeline, not an ETL pipeline. Why it is not ETL? Because we are doing extract. We are extracting from a source and we are loading it to another destination, but we are not transforming the data. We are not transforming the data. That's why it is not an ETL pipeline. Rather, we are going to call it a data ingestion pipeline. Clear? And it is obviously handling real-time streaming data. Okay, these two are we are going to do. And what we could have done and what we are not going to do. First of all, if the public access is turned off, we are not going to experiment that. Okay, and I will also show you that Firehose requires that the work group, the Redshift work group, stays public. Okay, if you have it not public, private, there are other workarounds, but no direct way, at least from my study, to connect the Redshift with the Firehose if it is in a private VPC or the connection is private. Okay, you have workarounds, but not the discussion point of today's session. Okay, so we're gonna have it public. And another thing about this one is that yes, could we have included the transformation? Yes, we could have. There are several transformation options. Transformation options. Okay, there are several ones. I'm just listing it for you so that if you have any interest, you can check those. First, we could have done is that we could have used Firehose itself for the transformation. Secondly, we could have used what? Glue, Amazon Glue. It's another service. Third option is use MSF, or you can say KDA, Kinesis Data Analysis. Okay, we can also use something called Databricks, which is the alternative or of something called EMR. Both are kind of same. Yeah, so these are some options for real-time data processing. What do I mean by real-time data processing? When the data is coming from this source, it is being loaded here, and in this portion where the Firehose is, we will transform the data real time before even loading. Okay, here we can have Glue, we can have Lambda, we can have Databricks, etc. Okay, even Firehose can transform data, but we are not going to do that in this session, maybe in a future session. Okay, another thing to point out is that Firehose uses Lambda for the transformation. Glue uses Spark, Apache Spark structured streaming. Okay, MSF, which is its name, Managed Service for Flink, uses Apache Flink. And both the EMR and Databricks also use Spark structured streaming. Okay, so the technology are different. Firehose is using a simple Lambda function, not a direct transformation. If I say Glue is using direct transformation with Spark structured streaming. You can say Spark is a library to handle large amount of data. Okay, and in data engineering world, it is the go-to library for ETL. And Databricks and EMR also use Spark structured streaming. Okay, if you are aware of these tools, you can use those. And the different service that we have, the tools that we use, is Apache Flink. Okay, it is also a alternative to Apache Spark. Both can be used to process real-time data. But as I said, we are not going to do any transformation today. We are going to keep it as simple as possible. Maybe in a future lesson, I'm going to do that. Okay, fine. So this was all about the what and why. I have explained the entire architecture and each of the components, what we are going to do, and also what could be done. Clear? So let's get on to the hands-on part. First, let's go to the Redshift and create a Redshift Serverless workgroup. We are going to use serverless, okay? Meaning no provisioning, you don't have to mention the capacity, the processor, etc. manually. It will be all done back in the back end, okay? Automatically it will scale up if necessary, scale down if necessary. This is serverless. So let's go to our console. I have already opened it here. Okay, so I'm in my Redshift console and I'm in serverless dashboard. Okay, so go to workgroup configuration and click on create workgroup. Let it load. Be very careful about your region. All of the things that I'm going to show you must be in a single region, okay, else you'll get errors. Okay, so let's name our workgroup demo. Okay, next, keep everything as it is. Here is a VPC cloud. It is automatically choosing the default one for me. Okay, I'm fine with that. You also have to choose a security group. It is very important. It is also the default one for me. You can choose anyone if you want. Same thing goes for the subnets. Then yeah, we don't need anything else. Click on next. We're keeping it as simple as possible. So namespace. So let's create a new namespace. We can also have a already created namespace, but for this I'm going to create a new namespace. So also let's call the namespace, let's say namespace NS, okay, for the namespace. Fine, we can have custom credentials, you know, user password and username. You can have secret manager to do that for you. You can generate a random password. Also you can do it manually. Okay, so I'm doing the manual part. Clear? Okay, fine. So we are done with this. We are not going to click anything else. Yeah, very important, very important. This is IAM role, and here you can see associate an IAM role so that you can your serverless endpoint can load and unload data. This is what we are going to do. We are going to load from the S3 bucket, right? You can create an IAM role as the default for this configuration that has this policy: Amazon Redshift all commands full access, and attach it. Okay, what will it do? This policy also grants permissions to run select statements for related services such as S3, CloudWatch, etc. So as you can see, this is a must. So let's go to our roles. Okay, IAM role, and let's have this. I have already created here, as you can see, Redshift IAM role, and I have attached this policy, Amazon Redshift all commands, that was mentioned here, as you can see, full access. So I've already created that, so I can just click on associate IAM. If you haven't created, just create it. Okay, and then go to associate. Since I've already have it, I'm going to click this and associate it. So it is done. After that, this is the monitoring part. If I have missed, here in the graph or the architecture diagram, you can see there's something called CloudWatch Monitoring. You don't have to worry about it. Okay, you just click on some options and it will do the monitoring automatically. Okay, and there's no extra manual work for this. So as you can see, if I just click on this, it is already saying audit logging. So I'm going to log the connection logs and user activity log. Okay, you can also do the encryption, but I'm keeping it as simple as possible. So yeah, I'm done with this, and also it will be in the dev database. Okay, the default one for the serverless. Click next, and we have a review everything. Yeah, everything is fine and okay, and create. So it will take a bit of time to get created, the Redshift cluster. Okay, in meanwhile, let's create our Kinesis data stream. Yeah, okay, so let's go to our Kinesis console. So I have already opened up. Just type in Kinesis and it will lead you to that console. And here in the data streams, as you can see, I have no data. Okay, I have no data. So let's create one. Create data stream. Let's name it. What to name it? Let's name it Kinesis data stream. Yes, let's keep it simple. Okay, fine. And there's no other things necessary. Create data stream and we will be okay. It will take a bit of time, but it doesn't take usually that much of time. So let's wait. Yeah, it didn't take much time and we are successfully in a Kinesis data stream. So here you can see there are lots of options, and there's something called producers in the application, a tab, also consumers. What the producers and consumer meaning? Okay, so producer are basically the data producers. Okay, the sources. A Kinesis data stream can have multiple sources going into it, and it can have multiple outputs which are called consumers. Okay, for our case we are going to first create the consumer, and what is the consumer? Here is our Firehose. Okay, we are going to attach the source later, okay, as you will understand. So let's go to the stream and let's create a consumer. Here we have three options. We have KDA, as I have mentioned. If you want to do transformation, you can use MSF, okay, Amazon Managed Service for Apache Flink. We are going to do this one, that is Amazon Data Firehose. So let's click on this. It will redirect us to the Firehose console, okay, and as you can see, you have to choose a destination. The source is already there, Kinesis data stream. If you want, you can have multiple other choice as well, but for today we are already using Kinesis data stream. So the destination, since we are loading it to Redshift, okay, there are also lots of options, but we are loading it to Redshift. Click on that, yeah, and scroll down. As you can see, the name is given this. We're just going to keep it as it is. Now be very careful because this part is very important. Scroll down and here you will see something called transformation. I have mentioned that we are not going to do transformation today, but if you want to do transformation, you can do it in Firehose, and I have mentioned here that Firehose uses lambda function for the transformation. Okay, so if you click on this, turn on data transformation, let's click it. This pops up and you have to choose lambda function, okay, for the transformation part. But as I've mentioned, we are not going to do that. So unclick it. We are using serverless workgroup. We have created the serverless workgroup. Let's see that if it is created or not. Yeah, we have successfully created this. Okay, fine. We are in it. So we can go to the workgroup. I've already opened the editor here, as you can see, and let's refresh that as well. If you don't know where to navigate the editor, just click here, query data, and it will redirect you to the editor. Okay, as simple as that. Okay, fine, let's get back to this. Since our serverless workgroup is running fine, let's scroll down. We have to mention the serverless workgroup. I have three. This one I just created, right? Demo. So let's click this one. The database was dev, if you remember, the default one. So type in dev. Let's scroll down. This is very important for authentication. I had used the username and password manually. It is already showing me since I had previously given the same thing, so it is already loaded, so I don't need to do anything else. If you use secret manager, click this one, okay, and you will have further options, but in my case it is okay. Okay, fine, let's scroll down. This is very important. Table name. Have we created any table yet? Let's go to the editor. Let me show you. In our demo, let it open up. We haven't yet created any table, okay? Let me show you. Yeah, the table you'll see is 0. If there's no, yeah, table is 0. For that, I'm creating a table. This one. This is a code. I'm going to show you from where did I get that. Okay, just hold on a minute. So I have this code. Let's run it. It will create a table for me in the demo serverless workgroup and in the dev database. Clear? Okay. So let it create it. And we have given the name this Firehose test table. There is also a reason for that. Again, I'm coming to that. So our table is created. If you refresh on this part, it will show you that we have a table created. If you expand, okay, it is still loading, but let me check. Let's again run it. I think it is created in the other one, but it is getting created. Okay, we don't have to worry about it. So let's again get back to the Firehose. We're going to check on it a bit later. So we have the name. What is the name? The name is Firehose test table. So the table name is fixed. Now what? Intermediate S3 destination. I have given you the explanation why do we need an S3 destination. Yeah, again let's have a recap. I said the Firehose doesn't directly input the data to Redshift. What it does is that it first uploads the data to S3 bucket, a destination. So do we have any destination created? No. So in this part, let's go to the S3 bucket console and create a bucket first. Let it load. Create bucket, and let's, yeah, we're going to use general purpose. No need to do the directory one. Bucket name, let's do this KDS for practice. It has to be unique in the AWS network. Okay, so let's see if it is unique or not. Practice demo, I think it should be unique. We will keep everything as it is. Okay, fine. Let's create bucket. Let's see is there any errors or not. It shouldn't be. Yeah, we have successfully created the bucket and the bucket is empty. Okay, this one, KDS for practice demo. Let's go inside, and as you can see there's nothing uploaded. Okay, so we have created the bucket as well. So again let's go here, and now the intermediate bucket, browse and select. It hasn't loaded yet, so let's refresh. Now we have it, KDS for practice demo. We are going to choose this. Okay, fine. So we don't have any folders, so we don't need any prefixes here. Scroll down. This is very important, very important. Although it is saying it is optional, but from my study what I have seen is that if you don't mention it, oftentimes, most often, your connection won't happen. Okay, it will give you error. So although it is optional, do be very careful. You have to mention something. If you are using CSV, I think the CSV command for this is just CSV, but we are going to use JSON. For JSON you can use this. I have already copied it. I'm also going to show you from where I copied it. Okay, just give me a second. So this, okay, okay, fine. So there are very important few parameters. First one, as you can see, the database name. Then you have to authenticate. Then you go to the table name, very important. Then the intermediate destination, I have mentioned the explanation. Then the copy command. Okay, this one. Why copy command? Why? Because Firehose, as I've mentioned, it will first load the data to S3. Then ask the Redshift to run this command, run this copy command that you can see here, below here. See this? This will run. This is the adjustment that we did in this part. So what Firehose is basically doing, it is uploading the data to S3, then it is going to Redshift and running a command in the backend. After that, Redshift will be able to load the data from S3. And I have also previously mentioned we already have an IAM so that Redshift can get the data from S3. So we are all good in this as well. Okay. Okay, fine. So we have the copy command. Retry duration, we are going to keep it very low so that we have fast data. Let's say 15 seconds. The buffer, again, we're going to keep it very low so that we can see the immediate results. And the buffer interval, let's keep it 10 seconds. We're not going to use any encryption. If you use encryption, you will have to use KMS, etc. Okay, you have to change your policies, add some policies as well. Okay, so we're not going to do that. We are going to use the what we already have. So that's it. Let's go to advanced. Anything else? I don't think so. Yeah, this is very, very important. Service access. We also need an IAM role for the Firehose part as well. Okay, there are two options. You can choose from an existing IAM role, or you can give the permission to create an IAM role automatically. So automatic creation is the best option. You don't have to deal with which policy should I attach or not. Okay, so I recommend keep it as it is. Okay, fine. You can add any tags if you like. I'm not going to. And create Firehose stream. It generally gives an error at the first click, as you can see here. Don't worry, again click this one and it should work. So I think it is created. Yeah, we got it. Yeah, so up until now, what do we have? We have the Kinesis data stream I showed you. We have the consumer as Firehose. We already created this stream. In this, we created S3, and at the very beginning, we created the Redshift workbook. And we attached the Firehose with stream as consumer, and we attached the Redshift as destination to Firehose. S3 is the intermediate where Firehose will first load the data, then ask Redshift to run a command in the backend, then Redshift will be able to load the data. We don't have to worry about monitoring, it will be done automatically. Clear? Okay, fine. So we have done these steps. Now let me show you some extra bits. If you go to this in the Firehose stream, test with demo data. If you untoggle this, you can test your Firehose to destination connection. This part. Only this part. If you like. With these options. There are details of this. Okay. First you have to create the table. Okay. This is the column names. Okay. This is the table code that you need to copy and paste. This is the code I copied. If you see, I tried to maintain the same thing, same structure. So I copied this one exactly as it is. Okay. Okay, fine. Where is it? Yeah. Then here they are saying that you have to mention the JSON auto ignore case in the copy option. But as I said, it is saying it is optional, but you have to do it. Okay. Here they are also saying this. So got my point? Yeah. If you have this, you can start sending demo data. You can start sending demo data, and if everything works fine, if you run this command in your query engine editor, you should see some outputs. Okay, but we are not going to test it. We are just going to test after creating the entire thing as a whole. Okay, but if you wish, you can just start send data, and after a while you can stop it, and in the monitoring you should see some outputs. Okay, and for the monitoring part, remember that it loads after 5 minutes, so it will have some delays. Okay, before it loads here in the monitoring section, you might see the output in the editor. Okay, so for the configuration, you can go here and configure anything if you want. Okay, anything. And for the destination error logs, if there is any error you will see here, and the part of the CloudWatch I mentioned, it is already created for you. You don't have to do anything manually. You just click on this and go and check your logs. Clear? Okay, fine. So let me check the table as well. Let me run the command select all from Firehose. Yeah, let's see whether our table is created and empty or not. As you can see, our table is created in the database, and it is in demo. See the tick mark here? Okay, and it is empty, totally empty. Okay, fine. So up until now we have done this entire part and we have connected everything successfully. Although we could have checked this part, but we are not going to. We have checked the entire full flow. Clear? So what remains? This one, the real-time data streaming. Now if you have any source, okay, let me show you. Let me again go to the uh, Firehose Kinesis data stream. Sorry, Kinesis data stream. Let me show you some producers. Producers meaning the sources of the data. Okay. If you go to the data stream, even click the already created one, go to application, you'll see some producers. We can get the data from Amazon Kinesis agent. You can have it for SDK and others. Okay. Even you can connect EC2 servers if you produce the real-time data by a code. Okay, so there are lots of options, but since we are practicing, the best option for real-time Kinesis data is to create something called Kinesis data generator. Okay, we are going to create this. It is not a separate service, rather you can say a utility created by the Kinesis team to create real-time data to ingest in Kinesis. Okay, so how to create real-time data with KDG? Let's go. So guys, how to create real-time data with Kinesis data generator? Let's go to the Handson. Let's go to our browser, search Kinesis data generator, click on this. Here you can see a GitHub link, the first one, Kinesis data generator. Click on that one, scroll down, and here you can see something called Kinesis data generator. Click on this one. Now you see help, click on help, again scroll down, and you will find this option, create a Cognito user with CloudFormation. Okay, it will create the necessary stack with CloudFormation. Just click and it will redirect you to your CloudFormation. So we are in our CloudFormation, as you can see, and it is already creating the stack. You don't have to do anything. Click next and give a name. I have given this name. Okay, and this is very important. You have to remember this password and username. So I have already set this one for me, and click on next. Oh yeah, I'm getting an error because it is giving me already exist. Oh, again guys, I made the mistake. You know what the mistake is? That I already have the same name, stack name in my uh, CloudFormation, which I can't have. But another major flaw is that all of my services are in the another region which I'm going to connect, but this is a wrong region, so I have to connect with the right region, which is the Mumbai for me. What is the reason? Because all of the sources that I'm going to connect the stack with is in Mumbai region. So if I have the stack in US, you will have errors. Okay. So again, let's go to the same procedure. Click on next. Here, if I'm not wrong, I don't have any stack in this name. Okay. So so I can click on this. Keep the okay. Let this one next. And you don't need to do anything else. If you want, you can. So we are not going to do anything else. Click on this and next. We're done with this. You can have a review and submit. It will take a bit of time, so you will have to wait. You can refresh it again and again. Okay, as you can see, it is already started to create. It won't take too much of time, 1 minute I guess. And here's a disclaimer for you. Okay, if you have created this one time and if you have already running in your CloudFormation, and if you want to create the same thing again for the second time, you will see an error. Okay, and the reason of that error will be lambda functions. Okay, I'll show you this. Let it completely finish. So as you can see, it is completed. So as I was mentioning, that if you want to do the same thing twice, the second time when the stack is already existing, then first you have to go to the lambda function. If I refresh it, you'll see these two things. When the stack is created, these two things get created, and if they're pre-existent in your system, you won't be able to again create the same thing. If you want to create again the stack for practice, let's say, delete these two first, then delete the already created stack, and then do the process again. Only then it will work. Other than that, you will see some errors. Okay, so we don't want to delete or do it second time, so we are not going to do this too. So yeah, we have successfully created the Kinesis data generator. Go to the outputs here and you'll see a link here. So click on this and it will redirect you to the Kinesis data generator. Mention your username and password here and click on sign in. If your sign in is successful, you will be here in this page. Again, be very careful to mention the right region. So we are in this one, and it will automatically show you your existing Firehose stream, Kinesis data stream. Okay, in my case, I have these two and I'll be using the Kinesis data stream. Okay, so let's click this one. Here you can send the number of data that you want to send. You can, I have chosen 100. I can choose anything else if I wish, but I'm going to do 100. You can even do it periodically. Okay, there are some flexibility here, but I'm not going to do that. And there are other options, and this one is very important, the template of data that you want to send. Okay, there are 5 options for you, and I have already created a template here. Okay, so if a template is going to send successfully or not, you can check it here. Test template, and if it is successful, it will show you some results, and if it is not successful, I think this is not going to be successful, test template, and it is not showing any results, meaning that the template that you provided is not valid. So this is how you generate data with Kinesis data generator for your Kinesis streams. So now the question is, how do you get this template? So for our case, I have created this, and I've created using ChatGPT. Basically what I did is that I went to ChatGPT and mentioned the uh, table. I just copied this and said, give me Kinesis data generator template for generating data for this table. Okay, so it matched the data types as well, the varchar, the float, and it gave me a template, and it worked. Okay, let me show you whether it works again or works or not. Test template, and as you can see, it is working fine. It is sending data. Okay. Okay, fine. So it is basic AI work, nothing else. Okay, I have just aligned the template with my actual table. Clear? Okay, fine. So guys, I've already selected the data stream. I have selected the template which is working fine and which matches our schema with this table. Okay, and as you can see, the table is empty. Let me again show you. Select all from Firehose. This is empty, as you can see here. So up until now, we have created the entire architecture. We have created the entire thing. Okay, and if you want, you can see all the monitoring in both Firehose and the Kinesis data stream. If you go to the Firehose, what we have here, we have the stream, right? So go to monitoring, you have monitoring, and if you go to the Firehose, you will also see monitoring. Let me show you. This is the one, and here you can also see the monitoring and also the destination logs, and in each of the logs you will see the options for CloudWatch as well, so you don't need to worry about the monitoring part. But reminder, the monitoring tab is slow. So yes, I have created the entire flow, and now the moment of truth. The data generator is created and we just need to send data. So if it works, what should we see? We will see the empty S3 bucket is getting filled. The monitoring will show some data in Kinesis data stream. The monitoring in the Firehose will also show some data in the monitoring. And after some time, it takes a bit of time, we should also see some data in our newly created table. So let me show you that everything is empty again. So this is our bucket, empty bucket. The table is empty. Kinesis monitoring is full empty. Same thing goes for the Firehose. So yeah, let's go. Let's send the data. Click on this one and the sending has started. It is sending 100 records per second, I guess, at a time. So yeah, we won't need more than 1000. So stop sending data. You can keep it on and on and on, and even if you wish, you can do the periodic as well. So this is the real-time streaming data. Okay, if you stop and again start after a certain time, it will still work. Okay, for our demo purpose, we have sent 1000 data and stop, but it is still streaming data because it is real time. Okay, okay, fine. So if it is working, we should see our S3 bucket is getting filled. It might take a bit of time, but let's see. Yes, as you can see, we have some data in our S3 bucket. Let's go to the Kinesis stream. Let's do the monitoring part. I can already see some outputs here. Okay, it is slow, it is showing 400, so it means our data generator is a bit slow. I have sent 1000 but it received 400 up until now. Okay, that's fine. It is good for a demo purpose. Okay, fine. Let's go to the Firehose and let's refresh it. It takes a bit of time. Okay, it has a bad record. It is already taking, it is showing 0. Okay, but it has already sent the data to S3. Okay, the data is already sent to S3, but it is still showing 0. As I've said, it is a bit slow. Now the moment of truth. If anything didn't go as planned, I should see it in the destination error log of the Firehose stream, since the Firehose is connecting to the Redshift. So let's go there and hopefully nothing is wrong. Okay, what is the problem here? The connection specified. Yes. You know what is mistake? Configuration. Here, if you go to the configuration, you'd see that ensure that Redshift is publicly accessible. In the very beginning, I mentioned that the Redshift workgroup has to be public. Is it public? Is it public? Let's go to our demo. Public accessible is turned off. This is the reason why we are not seeing the output. So let's edit it. Go to edit and just click on this, turn on publicly accessible, and save the changes. Okay, fine. It will take a bit of time. Another thing that we are going to need, this one, allow inbound access from this Firehose IP address. This is the specific IP address, meaning we also have to configure the security group. Okay, so how do we know the security group? Well, if you go to the work group, scroll down a bit, here you will see the endpoints and security group. As you can see, it ends with 65. So let's go to the VPC and let me show you the security group. It is the default one. Let it load. Yeah, this one, it is ending with the 65. So let's go, and inside this I have already created for you. Okay, I have already created for you the inbound rule. It says that we should have access to the traffic from this IP address. So I have copied this and created this one, edit inbound rules. You can do it from here. Okay, this is our inbound rule. Okay, you can ignore the other two, just the first one. Okay, so we don't need any changes, so cancel this one. And the outbound rule is unnecessary, but if you want to look at mine, you can see here it is actually giving the data from the default security group to the default security group. But the rule that we are concerned about is the first one, this one. Clear? Yes. So this was the main thing. Okay, this is very important. If you don't do this, you'll get an error. Okay, like I have got just now. So we should be fine since we have changed it. Yeah, everything is saved. So again, let's go to the Kinesis data stream, and now let's send a big amount of data. Let's say 2000 data. So it is sending. Yeah, I think it should be enough. Hopefully it is more than 400. Okay, so let's stop it. Again, let's go to the Kinesis monitoring part, and we should see something. Yeah. Oh, I think there's a barrier or something, because it is not having more than 400, but it should have had. Okay, I don't know what's the barrier, but it takes more than 400, guys. Okay, it takes more than 400. So don't worry, I don't know what's the situation for mine, but it is, as I can see, there's new data just loaded 2 minutes ago. Fine, let's go to the Firehose again. Let's see the monitoring part here, and let's refresh it to see the new incoming data. We should see, yeah, yes, as you can see, guys, the Firehose is successfully showing me that I have 1100 data. I have sent, I think, 2000 data, but the Firehose received 1100 data, and in the stream it is showing me the wrong numbers. As I have already mentioned, it is slow. It refreshes after 5 minutes, so it is still stuck in 400. Okay, but the Firehose is giving me the relatively new data, and we can see 1100 data is in our system. And you will also see that, yeah, delivery to to S3 bucket, it is also showing me some data here, that it has already successfully inputted some data to the S3 bucket. And here you can also see the other data as well. So the Redshift one takes a bit of time, so let me again check the errors, shall we? Let's go. So yeah, I think it has worked. I think it has worked because it is showing me data from six minutes ago. So let's me again refresh it so to see. Yeah, it is still showing me data from 6 minutes ago, meaning hopefully we are successful. So let's go to the editor and let's run our command again. So if it works, we should see some data in our table. Let's go. Yes, we are successful, guys, and as you can see, the first yeah, the 11 100 data, I think, by far is loaded. It will take some time, okay, so no worries, but yeah, here you go, we have the data loaded from the S3 bucket. So this was the entire architecture. Okay, so to sum up, guys, what we have done today is that we have built a simple data ingestion pipeline. I have mentioned that we are not going to have an ETL since we are not doing the transformation, but you can do the transformation including these steps here or services. And I have mentioned that the work group, the RS work group, has to be public, otherwise the system or the connection won't run. And I've shown you how to set up the Kinesis data stream, also the Firehose stream, and also shown you how to connect with Redshift. I have created it first. Also, same thing goes for the S3 bucket as well. And in the final part, I have shown you how to generate real-time data for Kinesis data stream by using Kinesis data generator. So the flow goes from generator to data stream to Firehose to S3, and again Firehose to Datashift. And the copy command is run, and when the copy command is run in the background, the Redshift uploads the data from S3 to the Redshift table. Clear? And what we have here used the IAM role. Be very careful. We have the public accessibility option. We have the security group. These are very important for Redshift. Okay, as I have gotten an error and I have shown you how to solve it. Clear? Okay, fine. So I think that's clear, and I have shown you we have successfully loaded the data from the Kinesis data generator. So this was it for the session, and in in future sessions, hopefully I'll be showing you how to include the transformation part as well in the pipeline. So in that case, the pipeline would be ETL. So if you want to see those, stay tuned. Bye bye.